Hello Vault Heads, this is the self-proclaimed, sarcastically named Captain KeyForge, also known as PJ Broughton of the Steel City Snufflegators.
Welcome to the latest episode of Captain's Commpod, and the beginning of the series is KeyForge Winds of Exchange any good at? And we're going to start with Æmber Pips. So is Winds of Exchange any good at Æmber Pips? How many Æmber Pips are on the cards? How does that compare to the other sets? Which house is best at generating amber just by playing cards? All of that good stuff. The Dark Tidings version of this was very popular, so I'm hoping this will be as well. But yeah, off we go. So there are 119 cards in KeyForge Winds of Exchange which have one Æmber Pip on them or more. So some of them could have 2 or 3, etc. Okay, and that's with them. Right, didn't really look at enhancements there either. Okay, so 49 of those cards are reprints from other KeyForge sets. Okay, so about a third, maybe just over a third of the cards with amber on them have come from other sets. Okay, and then from Winds of Exchange, there are 70 brand new Winds of Exchange cards, which we've never seen before, new to the set, which again have 1 or more pips of amber on them. So yeah, again, more, not quite double, but certainly 50% more. Okay, now there are 403 cards in total in Winds of Exchange. Okay, so 119 cards out of 403 is 29.53%. So in theory, 1 out of every 3 of your cards should have an amber pip on it or more. I mean, again, I've not taken into account common and rare and stuff like that, but then maybe if we're talking 1 in 3, 12 amber out of 36 would be a good number. 12 base amber would be a good number to see. So we'll go into the houses. So the lowest amber on the houses you're going to find in House Mars and House Equidon. Okay, House Mars and House Equidon have both got 12 cards that's got 1 point of amber or more on it when you play it. Okay, so doesn't seem horrendous. There's normally about 50 cards per house, roughly, something like that. But yeah, they're the lowest. Let's see how they compare to some of the others, because the next house is Brobnar. So in Brobnar, 16 of the cards have an amber pip on them. So 4 more than Mars or Equidon. I mean, also, right, it's a quarter more, 25% more. 25% of the Brobnar cards have got more, 20% more have got amber on them than Mars or Equidon. Not exactly necessarily what Brobnar was known for. So nice to see them in the middle. Well, not quite, because what's in the middle is Star Alliance. So in 4th place, Star Alliance with 17. Okay, so again, 17 of the Star Alliance cards got 1 amber pip or more on them. But again, that Brobnar with 16 doesn't look that bad now. Some of us would like to see Brobnar come back and be good. And to be fair, from what we've seen so far on gameplay and stuff like that, it's looking that way. But the proof of the pudding will be in the playing in this case. The next one is House Saurian. Okay, so Saurian have got 18 cards with an amber pip on them. I mean, that's not massively surprising, I don't think, because I do seem to feel that Saurians do all right for having amber on them. They also do all right for exalting and using the exalted amber in Worlds Collide, a bit less so in Mass Mutation, but they certainly did all right for using the amber exalted on them in Worlds Collide. Then with a total of 19, we have Sanctum. So Sanctum have got 19 cards with 1 amber pip or more on them. So again, I mean, 16, 17, 18, 19, not a lot of difference between these 4 houses. At the moment, the real ones that are sort of standing out are Mars and Equidon for only having 12. So their creatures and their artifacts are really going to have to work hard possibly to get that amber up and to find other ways of making it. But also then we go to top, and top is unfathomable with 25 cards with a point of amber. So that's more than double Mars, more than double Equidon, almost 10 more than Brobnar, which is almost 75% more. A lot more for Unfathomable. So Unfathomable should have a real ability to get some amber onto your pool just by playing cards. So yeah, that's what we got there. That brings me on to the next thing, which is amber by set. So at the bottom, anybody want to take a punt on which set had the least amber? Well, it's Age of Ascension. Okay, Age of Ascension had 118 cards which had a pip of amber on them, which is the lowest of any set. Although, as we've just seen, that's not actually that far behind Winds of Exchange, because Winds of Exchange has 119 cards with an amber pip on, although I did actually take the time to check, and there are 6 cards which will add a point of amber onto another card. So there are 6 enhancement cards that put amber somewhere else. So it's almost like 125. But yeah, 119 plus the additional 6. Okay, but yeah, Winds of Exchange is in 5th. In 4th place is Dark Tidings. Dark Tidings had 124 cards with a point of amber on them, and it also had 1 enhanced card that would put a point of amber somewhere else. So I've put DT in 4th and Winds of Exchange in 5th. There's an argument that they should both be joint 4th, because if you add on the enhanced cards, Winds of Exchange gets to 125, and so does DT. But I'm not. If the Pip's there as on the card, I'm not. I'll talk about the enhancement, but I'm not going to have it. Then in 3rd place, Call of the Archons. 126 cards with a point of amber. So at the moment, really, you've only got Age of Ascension lagging, because Winds of Exchange, Dark Tidings is very similar. Call of the Archons 1 more, but 1 more is not a lot, whereas Age of Ascension had about 5 or so less. So yeah, that's Winds of Exchange looking average at the moment. But then in second, we've got Mass Mutation with 134 cards with a point of amber on them, plus 5 cards which were enhanced with amber pips. So 134 bit. I mean, if we're going to take those 5, Mass Mutation's 139, which is almost like, it's not quite 10%, but it's certainly 8 or 9% more cards with amber pips on than Call of the Archons or DT or Winds of Exchange. So for me, that's where we're looking at in terms of the benchmark. But then also as well, Worlds Collide, 139 cards with an amber pip on them. That's, again, quite a bit more. That's like 15 cards more than Call of the Archons, Dark Tidings, Winds of Exchange. So now Winds of Exchange is actually 5th. For me, after doing that, Worlds Collide and Mass Mutation are the benchmarks for base amber. If you want cards with amber pips, that's where you want to be looking. So next thing, how common and rare are these things? So 33 of the 119 cards are common cards. Okay, so I mean, that's not a bad number. That's a lot of commons. Okay, but then in joint first place are uncommons and rares, because there are 43 uncommon cards with a point of amber or more, and there are also 43 rare cards with a point of amber or more. So maybe that target of 12 amber that I talked about earlier as base amber, maybe I'm being a little bit unfair with that, being as only a third, well, less than, are commons, the next to uncommons and rares. But I'll tell you now, if you do get 12 base amber, you've got a good number. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you about the 6 Winds of Exchange cards which come with an enhancement on you, take you through them and tell you which cards they are, etc., and how much they've got. Okay, so the first one is a Brobnar creature, and it is Rowdy Scald. And Rowdy Scald is power 4, is enhanced with 1 Amber Pip and 2 damage, and that's it. It's a goblin, no other traits, no other abilities, passive, active, whatever, no armor, but Rowdy Scald comes with enhance, 1 amber and 2 damage at common. So, all right, not too bad. And again, that amber could go on something quite useful. You never know, you look. But yeah, that's the first one. Okay, the next one is from House Equidon, and again, it is a creature. This time it is a power 2 creature, okay, with no armor, and it is Steward Su Ujane, which has been enhanced with 2 Amber Pips and a draw icon. But again, has no abilities other than that. So no armor, no passive abilities, just like the Brobnar one, but 2 Amber enhance and 1 draw. So again, with that card, you can look forward to seeing 3 enhancements go into your deck, and 2 of them are going to be Amber Pips. So yeah, interesting. So that will then bring me on to the next one, which is Sanctum, and yet again, it is a creature. This one is yet again 2 power and no armor. It is called Cassiel the Benevolent, and it does have 2 armor. Sorry, 2 power, 2 armor. Human Knight. Enhance, Amber Capture. So 3 icons, 1 of which is an amber, 2 of which are captures. That's probably my favourite out of the 3 so far, because amber control is never a bad thing, even if it's capture. So we all like to see amber control. We all like to see ways to get that off our opponent's pool and anywhere else. The next one is a reprint, and it is in Saurian. So it is an artifact, and it's Amphora Captura, which is trait, item, enhance, double amber, double damage, double draw. So it's got 6 enhancements, and when resolving a bonus icon, you may choose to resolve it as a capture bonus icon instead of as amber, capture, or draw. That's not a bad card. Nice card that's going to put some good enhancements in and give you a bit of adaptability. If you want it as the draw, you can draw it. If you want it as the amber, you can have it as the amber. But if you need the capture, so be it. Okay, then we're going to go to Equidon. Equidon has an artifact that's enhanced, which is Puzzling Trinket. Enhance, 2 amber. When you resolve a bonus icon, an amber bonus icon, you may choose to resolve it as capture, damage, or draw. So very much like Amphora Captura, in that you can choose to do something with your enhancements, but instead of choosing to make them capture, you can choose to make amber capture or damage or draw, but it is only worth 2 enhancements. So I might prefer the Amphora Captura, but again, I don't think that's going to be a bad card. Certainly going to have its uses. And then finally, and I suspect you'll have heard me talk about this one before, Cursed Relic. Enhance, 6 amber. You cannot play this card. Cursed Relic cannot be discarded from your hand except through card abilities. So it's the one that you can't get rid of, that Captain KeyForge doesn't particularly like, because you can't get rid of it. I mean, again, I value 6 enhanced amber, I really do. When I'm saying 12 is a good number of amber, to have something that enhances you by 6 is really good, as long as you've got a way to get rid of it. And if you haven't got a way to get rid of it, I think you're going to have a bad time with that card. So, is KeyForge Winds of Exchange any good at Amber Pips? What do you think? Do you think yes? Do you think no? You've just listened to all my stats. What do you think I'm going to say? So, beep. Well, I'm going to say yes, but I think I'm not saying it's in the top tier, because for me, Winds of Exchange and Worlds Collide, Mass Mutation and Worlds Collide are the top tier. But I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's not good. Might go as far as to say that Age of Ascension is not good, with it being the bottom and being distinctly behind, but only 2 expansions have got noticeably more Amber Pips than Winds of Exchange. Everything else is roughly the same or slightly behind it. So for me, yes, it is. So, as ever, what do you think? Get in touch, use Discord, use Facebook, use Twitter, use email. Let me know where you think I'm wrong. Let me know if you think I'm right. Why do you think I'm wrong? Why do you think I'm right? Love to hear it. This series will continue. You're going to get steel next. Is Winds of Exchange any good at steel? Unless we have something really noteworthy to talk about in the meantime. But thank you for staying with me all the way through another Captain's Commpod. I do appreciate it as ever. And I hope you come back. And may the forge be with you.